Grüezi, bonjour, buongiorno. Welcome to this new video of Sarbach Piano, your specialist for piano restoration in Switzerland, near Aarau in Küttingen. Today I present you a very rare piano here in Europe. It's a chickering from USA. I will show you some special details you won't find on European pianos, and I will also in this video explain a lot about piano, a grand piano, mechanic, regulation and intonation. It could be interesting for you, and of course in the end we will hear the piano now and then we will hear the piano after the work. So let's check it out. So here we see the full piano. The legs, here we see it has three pedals. So the middle pedal is the sostenuto pedal you find on pianos today, but from old pianos this is very rare in Europe. The fall board is kind of two pieces, so you open like this and then like this. Here we see chickering from Boston, USA. So let's take this out, and then we have a quick look inside. So we see the soundboard is very nice. Here we see a repair and there are no cracks and it's very well done. The original lacquer here, perhaps new lacquer, I don't know, but it looks very nice. New felt here. The bridges are also perfect, so we have a very good condition. Here we have quite big tuning pins, but not the biggest one, and they have a good hold, so we can lift this. The bass strings may be original from the color, but I don't know, perhaps they're 20-30 years old. So the acoustic we can probably like this, but the problem is here the mechanic. So let's talk about mechanic regulation. First thing I usually do is check how big is the distance, distance from the strings to the hammers in this position. So usually we should have something like 45 millimeters. This is 47. Okay, then we have to see how far does the key go down. Therefore we have this special plate. This is 11. This is a usual mass, and we see it's a little bit less here, and it's 11 here, 11 here, so it's not equal. And then we see if we press it down, does the hammer really come up fully, fall back? Yes. So we will have to decide whether we have to increase the depth here or to reduce it here. But there's a second thing we have to do first. This is to check the leveling of the keys. And if I have here an aluminium rail, and if you look close here you see they differ. Here this is deeper, this is higher. So this is the one we checked out with less key depth, and this is also a little bit too no, this one, they must be up. If I put this up, then this will also increase, so this is correct, but they are too less. So this is my chickering before restoration. First we listen to the mid-range here. We have a good tone quality, it's bright and the sound carries on. This is very good. If you look at the intonation, this is too hard and the sound is a little bit thin and it must have more depth, so we'll see after intonation how this sounds. Then in the treble, this is very nice, really bright, powerful. So this piano is 1.70 m, so we'll see what does the bass bring. Bass is good, but also too hard. We need intonation here. It's not so. Here we had some. This one, much too hard. And some strings do not sound as good as the others. It's a little bit dull. It's a little bit dull here. The lowest notes could be brighter. Perhaps we can turn the strings, take it out, turn it, put in a new intonation, or change these strings. So let's listen to some chords and then we will finally compare to the restored sound. First step, leveling the keys. Therefore, we had to take the mechanic apart, and here we have little weights to press the keys down with equal force. But if the mechanic is put together, we can't take the key out. This is the problem. I prefer to do the leveling inside the instrument, so we can be sure that it's absolutely as it is afterwards. So if I put it on a table, it could be some difference, you know. So now let's see a sample. Put on this metal bar. Here I already leveled some keys. I started with C. C, first checking out the right level. And here we see a key that's really down. You see, this is almost 1 millimeter or something. So I show you how we do this. There's this one. Take the key out with this weight here. And now I have to guess which one I put in. 0.05 millimeter, 0.05, so very, very thin, or 0.4 millimeter, quite thick. So we have about 1 millimeter, and I would guess this is this one, 0.12, or this one 0.08. I guess I start with 0.08. No, it's this one. Let's take the green one. 0.12. So I put it in the middle rail, so it has to be much less than here, of course, because we have a increasement, of course, because this is just physics, you know what I mean. So take out this felt, put in this back in. So this is the G, we put it back. So usually I do this a bit faster, but I show you. So, okay, and now you can see it's perfectly leveled. And if I move here, it doesn't move, so it's also not too high. This was a good guess. So I continue with all the white keys, then I will level the black keys, and then we see the next step. Now the keys are perfectly leveled, as you can see. One line, this is one line. So now we have to level the hammers. So I measured the C, this is the correct distance, and you see this one is a little bit too high, this is a little bit too low. So we can adjust this here in the capstans. Just show you how it goes up and down. See, goes up and down. So now I will bring all hammers in a line and then we can start to regulate the mechanic. Now I'm regulating the key depth. As I showed you, I already regulated the white keys with this tool. It's a very fast and easy way to check it. And then I control the tipping point. So when I press down, the key must drop off, let off, just before the key stops, like here, and then it's finished. You have a little bit of way after the drop, but this shouldn't be too much, almost nothing. Then the black keys I regulate like this. I check also the tipping point, and here you see when I press just softly the hammer is still up, and I must press hard to bring it down. So this is too high. So take out some paper here, back in. Now it's correct. I see here I already regulated the let off point, so now I have to drop here at the right point. So I finish the black keys and then we can continue. So now I show you the final steps of the pre-regulation. So if this regulation is finished, I will play and try the instrument and perhaps change something from the feeling, but the goal of this process is to make everything even, and this should fit quite well. So I didn't show you the let off. This is here. I can regulate it with this special tool. It means in which position the hammer falls down. So if we screw it here the right way, it goes down or up, and the hammer should come close to the string. Of course, it shouldn't reach it if you play very slow. And I leave here something like 2 millimeters safety distance, because this can a little bit change with humidity, so we are sure it doesn't touch. It's important that all are even and they go close, so we have a precise playing. Then the next step is to check where the hammer is stopped when it comes back, you see. And this we can just bend the part here. This should be like 1 centimeter below the highest point. This is about correct. Otherwise I can bend it. And then I regulate the dropping point. So if I press the key, it drops down, and here I can regulate how much it drops, and it should just drop, but not too deep, of course. Let's say 1 millimeter. See, if I screw it too wide up, it doesn't drop. Now I pull it down, it drops more. So I press several keys, and then I equalize. Here it comes up, the drop. This is also important for a good feeling and a good repetition. And then the spring means the force that pushes the hammer up. Now, you see, this should be regulated so the hammer goes up, but it shouldn't go too fast, of course, because otherwise it could touch the string, and it also disturbs you. You feel this. So some of these are even a little bit too much. See, this one is really bouncing up. This is too much. On most pianos you have here a regulation screw for the spring force, but this is a Steinway type of spring, so you won't see it here, but I can show you this on this action model. So you see here this spring, and to regulate it we must come from the upper side, take it out, see? And now I can bend it like this to make it weaker, or like this to make it stronger. And then I must put it back. This is a little bit the issue. Oh, here I can show you on this model. You see the let off is not correct. See this? The hammer is just stuck here. So we go down with the let off. Now it's correct. Yeah. Down, down. Now it doesn't touch. You see, here we can bend the back check, as I told you. Here's the dropping point. And what we also have to check is the position of this. This should be just in the middle of the roll here. If it's too far here, sometimes it would not play. And if it's too far here, there's too much resistance on the dropping point. So that's quite all we have to regulate here. And finally we'll regulate the damping, so all dampers go at the same time, and also the damper should, here it's not correct, you see, the damper should not go from the beginning. Perhaps I can show you. Still too much. You see, the hammer goes first, and then the damper comes at the halfway. That's the correct position. Okay. You can regulate this with this screw here, and here we even have a regulation for the damping point for the damper pedal. Not all pianos have this, but it's very comfortable to regulate. So that's pretty much it. So the next step will be the intonation.
Back. Today we are still working on the chickering grand piano. Before the intonation, I would like to talk with you about lubrication. This is a quite important issue. Of course, before you regulate the mechanic, you have to lubricate it or to check if the lubrication is okay. And you have several points that are mostly important. The most important point is the hinge of the hammer shank. So you can take out the hammer and see if it swings, and it should swing about 7 times. If it just goes like whoop, so this is too tight. What you can do here is, I put it back, lubricate it with a special lubricant. Then if this doesn't help enough, you can change the hinge here, put in another, or you can also try to give some heat here. Then test it and test it. Here the hinges are okay. Another important point is here. So here you see a black color on the, I can show you on here. You can put on graphite. This is a liquid graphite you put on and it dries, and then here it has less friction. And what we have to do here also is to put on the hammer hole some Teflon powder, so you won't have the pressure point, this when the hammer drops here, you won't have this hard pressure point. And the most important thing, of course, is that all pressure points are the same. So if you play pianissimo, you will have always the same resistance Otherwise you can't really do a fine, you can feel with your fine pianissimo playing. And of course we lubricate here also with this Protect, for example. This is also liquid, but it dries and then it has just a little bit of a powder or something. Okay, we have done this here, and then as you can see now, the keys are also bleached. I put them into the sun with H2O2, so they are perfectly white now, and they are perfectly leveled. And also the black keys, I had to paint them on the side a little bit. There's some damages here often. So now we can go to the intonation. So some people regard the intonation as something like a mysterious thing. It's not so difficult. The difficulty in intonation is to hear what's happening. So this needs some educated ears. And of course you can improve your intonation skills through the years. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the best intonator in the world, but finally I would say I can go in the right direction to a point where I'm satisfied. And there's some really obvious thing you can do, perhaps not the final achievement. And now let's listen to just the middle C first. So you hear the tone goes in somehow a hard direction and it's somehow flat. So what is intonation about? It's about the physics of hitting the strings. And you can have a very hard base of the hammer and a hard top. So the tone is like almost like metal, like bam, flat, and the overtones are weak. Or you can have a hammer that's totally weak, so the tone gets dull. So basically we can have two parameters, the hammer base and the top. You know, if you have a soft base and on the top it's hard, so the tone gets weak but hard. You know, it's not about just hard and soft. The tone would have less power, but the overtones are bad. You see. So first we have to find out if we can soften the core, so we have more overtones, and the top is more about the core is about the power and the top is overtones. So here I would first work on the sides to give it more depth in the sound, and then a little bit on the top. And if I have the feeling that the hammers have a nice overtone, it's about equalizing. I hope this helps you. I mean, the process is always a little bit different. So we have this. This is even harder. So we take these three tones, D, E, F. They're equal. A little bit I have to tune it first, and then we work on the middle and we can compare it. So now we have to bring the tones in itself to a good vibration, so all the three strings have to be equal. So if the tones are not tuned well, we can compare it for intonation, of course. This tone is good here, just nice flowing frequencies, and here it's not so good. So we can compare now the middle and the right string. That's good. And the middle string and the left string. That's good. So I tune the left string. Okay, now it's good. Now all three tones are good. So let's start with the middle tone. You go up almost to the striking point. We see the striking point here where the hits, there are marks of the string. So we go just up to there. And on the top, we can just feel it. Yeah, it's good. Now you can really hear a difference. In the forte, the tone is not so harsh, it's a little bit more colorful. And it has a softer attack. So, then I will continue this. But another thing I want to show you is the equality of the tone. If I go up, you will hear some inequality, perhaps you can hear it. So if you compare here and here, you realize that here it's louder and then it becomes softer again. So I'll show you a little bit of a. I will play it louder so you hear it. That's what I mean. Now I play equal. And if you play a piece, you can say there's some tones just jumping out. It's not what you want. You hit the F, it's just bomb, and it's difficult to control. Also this S. So here we have to intonate more, so we equaline. And also the tone will become a little bit more colorful. So let's listen and then let's listen again afterwards.